Good morning, guys. Good morning. I feel like I need one more. Hold on one second. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. That's Let me share the show. Good morning. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you're ready to get this morning started. Hope you were safe. I hope you guys have been enjoying the show. I think we have been growing a lot. Like, I think the direction of this is fresh mint and fresh lime. I think the morning show has been growing a lot. And I have been enjoying the growth process of the Fearless Morning Show. So good morning. Welcome. If this is your first time joining the Fearless Morning Show, welcome. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy Specialist. What better place to be than here with me? Good morning. All right. I just want to make sure I share the show first. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. If they do not like YouTube, we do have podcasts. We are wherever podcasts are found. So we're on all Apple's products. We're on Stitcher. We're on Android. Wherever you find podcasts is where you can find us. It is the Live Past Crazy Show. So that's where you can find us. YouTube, podcast. And don't forget, just a reminder, you guys will be seeing more videos and information coming up about the Sisters Retreat. bit.ly/Sister Rise. Let me type it here. Where you can become a part. Sister Rise is an event that I'll be having in October for 12 women. It is 2 nights, 3 days. And we will be doing some sister work for real, some inner work to begin us on our journey, whatever it may be for you, however you define it. That will be in October the 16th through the 18th. It will be in Savannah. And we are excited about that. So, all right, so let's get started right into the quote of the day, the thought of the day. Here's the quote of the day. The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. And that's by Samuel Johnson. Samuel L. Johnson. The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. I like that. And that's by Samuel Johnson. I said Samuel L. Jackson, but it's Samuel Johnson. The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. That means you think that change is so small that you can't see it, feel it, touch it, or that change that you're doing things but you can't see the change, or it's not enough to make a difference. But when something meets up against you, or when something happens that challenges your new system, the new you, your new journey, your new thought process, then that's where you see that the habits that you have been putting into place, that's when they become strong. That's when you can see that they're evident and that they're real and that what you're doing is really working. I love that. So, good morning, Leah. I have to move because for some reason I can't see the comments here, so I have to log into Facebook and see it here too. So if you guys see me, that's what I'm looking at. So that is a quote of the day by Samuel Johnson. So it's the little things that add up to the big things, and that when something happens and you become more aware of your surroundings, and it challenges the new things that you put into place, then you know how strong your habit has been, how strong your intention has been, how strong the idea that you put in place has been. Y'all, I had to tell you, I've had some revelations these past 2 weeks that have been unreal. And it has been, again, the little things that add up to the big things, the little things in my thought process. It's just the little things in how I think, what I think, that have added up to mental shifts that I could not even comprehend last year. I couldn't comprehend it last year. Shoot, I couldn't even have comprehended it last month. And so it is the small things that make the habit stronger. All right, guys. So that's the quote of the day. Here is the thought of the day, right? So the fearless thought of the day is no limit. If you are my age, you remember No Limit Larry. No, that's the radio station in Charlotte. But you remember No Limit Master P. And when I read this, we've talked about freedom a couple of times this year already. But I read this yesterday, and I knew we had to talk about it. So we talked about freedom in different ways and different aspects and what it looks like. But I want us to think about no limits with this process. No limits. So when we understand that the one who created us, the divine, is at our core, we are then not limited to anything. When you understand that the person, the divine who created the entire universe, is at your center, when you get it that simple, then you understand that you cannot be limited. You are unlimited. When you understand that the person, the divine, the universe who created all that you see, who holds the stars and the sun and the moon in the sky without it ever falling, and the water to come right where it's supposed to and go back and stay within its confines, that thing is also inside of you. When you get it that simple, then, my friend, you become unlimited. You become unlimited. We are a reflection of the universe. We are a reflection of the divine in us, good or bad. Now, that's up to you what you reflect back, what you allow to reflect back. But you are a reflection of the creative genius of the universe. It lives at your core. When you, and I'm going to read this straight from my notes. When you realize this truth and accept it as a fact of your reality, you know that you are free to choose whatever you believe to be the truest reflection of your identity. So that means if you believe in your identity that you cannot do anything, then that is the truest form of yourself that you can only accept. If you believe that the truest reflection of yourself is to reflect back the creative genius of the divine, then you will be unlimited. And that will be the truest reflection of your identity. What you see before you, how you present yourself, how you think, your space is representation of how you see yourself inside of the divine and how the divine sees themselves inside of you. You represent that now, right now. Freedom requires consistent and repeated acts of courage. You must be courageous to admit, 1, that all things are possible, and 2, that you are equipped to handle them all. When you are willing to demonstrate this degree of courage and to take a risk in knowing that you are totally free. What you believe, how you feel, what you do, and how you respond is the only hindrance to your freedom. That's it. It's the only hindrance to your freedom. Be true to this. There are things that we think will give us freedom that actually give us bondage. Be free knowing that the divine lives in you and believes in you. Free from guilt, fear, false responsibilities, and a need to be legitimized by others opens your minds to new choices, responsibilities, and opportunities. No limits. That's the thought of the day. Y'all, the thought of the day comes courtesy of Miss Ayana Van Sant, and this is One Day My Soul Opened Up. And it's called, this chapter is called Honor Yourself with Freedom. And when we honor ourselves with freedom, we get to the bare basics. And I love what she said, that the one who created the entire universe is at the core of you. And when you represent that, when you acknowledge that, then you become unlimited. No, nothing no longer hinders you. Life happens, but it does not hinder you from being limitless. And that we are a reflection of the creative genius of the universe. When you realize this truth, then you are free to choose whatever you believe to be the truest reflection of your identity. That is up to you to choose what you want your identity to be inside of the divine. That's up to you, right? And that is what you're living right now. That is evident of your life now. Period. Freedom requires consistent acts of courage. So if I thought a day is no limit, it is going to require repeated acts of courage. Meaning, it is going to require something of you. Freedom, change, liberation, all of it requires something from you. It requires a thing from you. It requires you to be a certain way. It's going to require you to live your life. It's going to require something from you. Like, it's just not going to be, oh, this is it, and let it go. Freedom requires consistent and repeated acts of courage. When you're willing to demonstrate this degree of courage and take a risk of knowing that, then you are totally free. You must, and here's the thing that I love. And I think this may be our hindrance to some things. Freedom not only is a repeated act of courage, but it is also the thing that can hinder us. If we assume that we could never be free of a thing, then we will always be bound to that thought process and that thing, and we will never experience life as we were supposed to experience or supposed to know it. Freedom is the recognition of truth, and that the divine, the entire universe, the person who created the universe, lives at our core. Period. So here's the thing. You must be courageous to admit that all things are possible and that you're equipped to handle them. That's a scripture, and we say it all the time. But do we believe it, though? Do we believe that that's true? If we don't believe that that's true, then is our prayer and the things that we're saying not valid? Like, what is the purpose of us saying it if we don't believe it? That all things are possible and that we are equipped to handle them all. Because if we believe that all things are possible, then will we not live more in liberation? Will we not live more in freedom? Will we not live more free in our thought process and in our mindset? If we truly believed that all things are possible and that we are equipped to handle them all, would we not live differently? On this journey, y'all, you are stretched beyond beliefs. your own belief system. You're stretched beyond what your current reality can comprehend right now. Because your current reality can't comprehend what you are thinking about and dreaming about in the future. And that's okay. That's the fun part. It's okay to be there. That is the courageous part of freedom. The courageous part of freedom says daily, I believe this. Daily, I know this thing is coming to pass. Daily, I know this, I'm working towards this. And so we must be courageous to admit that all things are possible, one, and that we are equipped to handle them all. If you don't believe the fundamentals of that, then the thing that you pray for, or the freedom that you want, or the truth that you're seeking, it will never truly come to you, because you've already put in place a hindrance before it even got there. You've already said, oh, I'm going to say it with my mouth, but I'm not going to believe it in my mind. I'm not going to understand and comprehend it. So you can't say, I think all things are possible and I'm equipped to handle them all. But as soon as you're introduced to a new thought, hey, you can go be great and amazing, you automatically have a hindrance set up before the blessing could even come. You have the block up before the words come. You stopped it before it could even say it. So what's the point of saying it? So then it comes back to, what is the point of your prayer if you don't believe it at your core? When you're willing to demonstrate that degree of courage and take a risk knowing that, then you are free. What you believe, how you feel, what you do, and how you respond is the only hindrance to your freedom. Here, mentally, physically, emotionally, that's your only hindrance. It's how you think, how you feel, and what you do, and how you respond. That is the only hindrance to your freedom. You are a reflection of the creative work of the Creator. You are His genius project. You are a representation of the universe. And when you realize this truth and accept it as your reality, now you are free to choose whatever you believe to be the truest reflection of your identity. But in order to get to that part, to be free enough to choose whatever you want to believe to be the truest form of your identity, meaning before you can believe that you about to be amazing and great, okay, you have to admit that all things are possible and that you're equipped to do them all. If you cannot admit that, then you can't live to the truest form of your identity. You can live true to the identity of what you have right now, which is that serving you. Is what you're living right now the truest form of your identity of who you really want it to be? And here's the thing. We allow time, space, people, and our current reality to dictate whether we can change or not. That's not fair. That's not fair to you. We allow time, space, people, and our current reality to dictate what we can or cannot be. That is what's hindering us from our freedom. That is the thing that is stopping us from being free to the 19th power. That is the thing that is stopping us from believing that we can, all things are possible and we are equipped to do it. That's twofold. And because we have hindered ourselves first, we can't comprehend the blessing second. Free from guilt, fear, false responsibility, and the need to be legitimized by others opens your minds to new choices. But to get to that point, y'all, you have to believe that all things are possible, that you can handle them all, and stop being a hindrance to yourself. What you believe, how you feel, what you do, and how you respond is the only hindrance to your freedom. Period. Freedom requires a constant and repeated acts of courage. You must be courageous to admit that all things are possible and that you are equipped to handle them all. They are twofold. You cannot have one without the other. You are a reflection of the Creator, period. When you understand that you're a reflection of the Creator and the one who created you is at the core of your being, you will then understand that you are not limited. Hence the thought of the day. No limit. Go play that song today. No limit. You are only limited by your thought, word, and deed. Not by the Creator, not by the divine, not by whatever word you want to stick on it. You are limited on your own accord. You are not put here with limits. That's my belief. You're not put here with limits. And so, remember we talked about inch by inch and movement by movement, and that, it's one step, one step. The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. Meaning it is those day ones that add up, so that when you get to something that at one point would have stopped you, now it does not. You realize how much the small habit of doing day ones has impacted your life. And now this thing that used to tear right through you doesn't, because your habits have now built a new foundation. You now have a new thought process. You now have a new behavior system in place. And it cannot be broken. And it begins day one with 1,000 day ones. With you realizing that the one who created the entire universe is at your core, and you are not limited. You are unlimited. And you are a reflection of their creative genius. When you realize this truth and accept it as a fact of your own reality, now you are free to live to the truest reflection of your identity. But first, you have to understand that to be free takes courage, one, because to be courageous and to be free go hand in hand. But it takes admitting that all things are possible and that you are equipped with it. And you right now are assuming that you are not equipped to handle anything new in life. You could not possibly change your life now at 65, at 70. Who are you to be changing your life? But my question is, who are you not to be changing your life? Who are you not to be living to the truest form of your identity, one? And who are you not to believe that all things are possible and that you are equipped to handle all of the change that comes with it? And we are the ones who are hindering ourselves because we say we want the thing, but as soon as we get the understanding of the thing, meaning as soon as we understand that this is going to require something of us, then we step away and say, oh, it wasn't meant for us. Well, then here's my question. What did you pray for the thing for? You pray for freedom to be able to go and travel and do, right? I want to be free to pay my bills, man, and not worry. I think that's everybody's prayer, but it's going to require something of you. And because you assume that you do not have all the tools that you need to achieve it, you stop yourself from ever having it in the first place. So what is the point of you asking and praying for it if you believe you can never have it? See, there's twofold. All things are possible, and you are equipped to handle them all. So if your prayer or your thought process or your journey is to be debt-free or to travel the world, you must first remove the hindrance of you out of the way. And the hindrance of you is saying, Jojo, look at your current reality. That can't be true. Well, boo, you can't use that as an excuse, because your current reality is requiring something of you. Your future is requiring something of you. And that requirement is courage, for you to be courageous and for you to have freedom in your mind first. When you're willing to demonstrate this degree of courage and take a risk knowing that you are totally and unequivocally free. What you believe, how you feel, how you respond is the only barrier between you and freedom and the things that you say you want. Period. That's it. There's no extra words. There's no extra. Sometimes we like to put words on things and make it, again, bigger than what it is. We have to, we have to make things big so we don't have to deal with the smallness of ourselves. And so we have to be dramatic and make everything so over the top. But when we do that, it is only contributing to us hindering ourselves to who we're meant to be. Be free in knowing that the divine believes in you, one, that you were created by a creative genius, and that the Creator lives at your core. Period. Now can we comprehend the fact that all things are possible and you are equipped to handle them all. I tell y'all, when I got it like that, it wasn't necessarily in those words. It was just like, you got to do it, so you might as well do it. We allow time, space, people, and our current reality to dictate what we can and cannot do. Because you have hindered yourself first, you can't comprehend the blessing second. Period. So it starts with day ones. It starts with today as your day one, understanding that this is, good morning, how are you? This is your journey. This is where you begin. So it's no limit. Y'all, when I tell you, and I got some good news, I can't wait I'm going to share it shortly. And y'all, here is JoJo working through this. Let me get this quote. I got several of them. Y'all know me, Queen of Sticky. You're qualified to be exceptional. You're just nervous about it in front of your current community. I had to tell myself this over and over for the past 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks. That's why you've heard me say it over and over and over again. You are absolutely qualified to be exceptional. You are just nervous because of your current community. That's okay. Be exceptional anyway. Live in purpose, not perfection. When we live in purpose, we are walking in a thing that is called perfection. We're living inside of that. Never close your mind to something miraculous. Never close your mind to an idea simply because it's miraculous. Do not count a no you've never received. These 4 quotes in the past 2 weeks have freed me from JoJo's self-imposed limitations of what she thought she could not do. These 4 quotes have, and they clearly sit right here on my desk. And every time I set out to say, I cannot, you're qualified. Live in your purpose. Don't count that no. Keep that mind open. And I go down the line and I take the action. Because to be free is to be courageous in knowing that all things are possible, 1, and that I am equipped to handle them, 2. I'm absolutely equipped to handle them, period. And that the divine lives in me, and the one who created the entire universe not only believes in me, but made space for me to do this thing that only I can do. So who am I, again, to hinder myself? We are the first stumbling blocks to our blessing. And I just got my whole life, and these are my 2 quotes. We allow time, space, people, and our current reality to dictate what we can and cannot be. Because you have hindered yourself first, you can't comprehend the blessing second. Because you've hindered yourself first, you cannot comprehend the blessing second. You saw it, and you said, oh, I can't do that. And you hindered your own self. Be free in knowing that the divine believes in you. God, the universe, whatever word you put on God, to me, he is limitless. So I don't limit him to words at all. What you believe, how you feel, what you do, and how you respond is the only hindrance to your freedom. You must be courageous to admit that all things are possible. And it's going to require you to do something about it. You're equipped to do it, but are you willing to do it? And when you realize the truth and accept it as fact of your reality, now you are free to choose whatever you believe to be the truest reflection of your identity. When I read this yesterday, one day my soul just opened up and she's talking about honoring your freedom. Freedom is a state of mind. It is the outgrowth of your willingness to make conscious decisions of your own free will and to live through consequences of your choices without blame, shame, or guilt. Freedom is a sign of self-awareness. When you are aware of what it takes to maintain your emotional, mental, and physical well-being, you make conscious choices towards that goal and you exercise your freedom. Y'all, whole life got me yesterday. Yesterday, I was traveling for 4 hours. I came here and took a 3-hour class. And then I stayed up another hour to work on some things. And I was, again, I can't wait to share y'all this growth process over the past, from the second week of May up until now. These 4 quotes have put me on a, like I go back and I read these quotes and I have them here with me on sticky notes, and I share what I've learned. I always share with you my journey of how it has changed some things and what I thought and how I thought. And these 4 quotes have absolutely became inundated in my brain to the point where I understand now that I am absolutely qualified to be exceptional. Okay, number 1. So are you. You got to live in your purpose and not perfection. Perfection lives inside what we are called to do, and that is called purpose. So if you're walking in your purpose, whatever name you want to put on it, there it is. Don't count that no you never received. Period. So on this wonderful day, the fearless thought of the day is no limit. The one who created the universe is the one who created you. And you are not limited to anything. You are a reflection of the Creator. And when you realize this truth, then and accept it as a fact of your reality, now you are free to choose whatever you believe to be the truest reflection of your identity. Because can we be honest? That's what is frustrating us right now. Let's be clear. Let's just have a truth moment. That is what you're frustrated about to the 19th power right now. It's not your job. Okay, yeah, on some level it is, but let's take it to the basic. It's not your job that's aggravating you and you're frustrating you. It's not your kids. It's not your mate. It ain't your man. It ain't your mama. It ain't your best friends. They are a result of what is irritating you on the inside. And what is irritating you on the inside is that you're not free to be who you always wanted to be. You have put on everybody else's self-imposed restrictions and or rules to life, and it is aggravating the hell out of you, and you are not sure how to get outside of that self-imposed hell that you have willingly put on. And because you willingly put it on, you now feel like you've got to accept it when you do not. And so the first step of being free, of having no limit, is to understand that your current reality does not define who you are. And at any point in time, my sister and my friend, you can redefine who you are simply by using your superpower, which is your mind. Period. It is hurting you to live small than it is for you to live great. It is more, you're doing more damage by insisting that you are not amazing. You're doing more damage to yourself by insisting that you're not great. You're doing more damage to yourself by insisting that you don't know how to do something, that you don't want this. You're doing more damage than you are by living great. And because you are right there on that, and it's rubbing The greatness in you, the divine in you is screaming for release and freedom. But here we are with our self-imposed restrictions trying to tell the divine and the creator no. You are a reflection of a creative genius. The divine who holds everything together by strings created you and lives inside of you. When you accept that part and you begin to live true to the truest reflection of your identity, baby, the freedom now is unimaginable. It is beyond comprehension. But right now it's hard right now because this is going on. Good morning, Miss Joe. This is going on. You're not allowing yourself to even look at the truest form of your identity. You can't even begin to think that. And why not? Because freedom requires consistent and repeated acts of courage. It is going to take courage for you to say to yourself, forget everybody else. It's going to take courage for you to say to yourself, I don't like this. Nope, can't say I like living like this. And then doing something about it. That, my friend, is going to take courage. And it requires consistent and repeated acts of courage. But when you're willing to demonstrate that degree of courage and take a risk of knowing that, then you are totally free. Because it takes courage to say, all things are possible and I am equipped to do them all. It's twofold. You can't have one without the other. So my sister, let me help you out, my brother. If you're praying a prayer for freedom of a thing, but your next thought after you say that prayer is, but it can't be me, because then there was no reason for that prayer to ever leave your mouth, because you've already blocked it and put a hindrance on it, because you are the first hindrance. Let's go to my quote. Because you have hindered yourself first, you cannot comprehend the blessing second. Because you assumed you cannot, you never will not. What is the... week before last, we talked about the weight of our words. What are you saying? Why are you saying it? Get freedom in your thought and in your words and become clear. Taste the words, feel them and see how they feel and how you want them to move. Because you are hindering yourself first, you cannot comprehend the blessing second. And we are allowing time, space, and our current reality to dictate us on what we can and cannot be. So on this wonderful day, I hope this has helped someone today. I know it got my whole life, and those quotes have helped me all week. You're qualified to be exceptional. Don't close your mind simply because it's miraculous. Don't accept a no you never received. The fearless quote of the day, which is amazing. The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. Until you practice it daily. And then when something comes up against it that used to break you down, now you move past it, then you'll understand why those day ones added up and why they are the way they are. So I hope this has helped someone today, guys. If it has, please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Don't forget, I have the Sister Rise Retreat coming up October the 16th through the 18th. You will absolutely be seeing more information about that. And it's called Sister Rise. Rise stands for Revitalizing Individuals' Sacred Energy. And we will have an amazing time. bit.ly/Sister Rise. It is in the comments if you missed it. Starting next week, we'll be doing another round of self-care. Self-care is gangster. So if you missed the first round, please go sign up. bit.ly/gangstercare and sign up and catch up with us. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I know I have. Please make sure you share it, because sharing is caring. I cannot do this by myself. It requires the help of everyone. So I appreciate you being a part of the Fearless Morning Show. I appreciate you taking time to be with me, and welcome to your journey. Wherever you are on your journey, I welcome you. Hope you have an amazing day. Please be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.